As the sun rises on a new series, I welcome you all guys to Oasis Park Zoo. Very simple name, I know. But today I really wanted to start on a little bit more of a storytelling franchise experience. And seeing as I have not played franchise mode on this channel yet, do not look at that, what's on the screen right now, please don't look at it. I really just wanted to, I don't know, just kind of take it back with you guys and start a new series. As Hope Harbor is currently kind of on pause for the channel, at least more information will come in its own video relatively soon. I really wanted to just pop in here into the good old franchise mode and kind of start this new series. So obviously, as you guys could tell from like the opening cinematics, we have a few different things going on over here, and also I've used Wiimod to kind of get me the funds to make this map to begin with, because unfortunately you really can't do like custom maps in franchise mode, but luckily enough I was able to just plop down everything I really needed over here, and we can have a little bit of fun with it. So obviously keep in mind I will be using mods. I have Planet Zoo Plus installed. I did use Wiimod to kind of like get us the funds that we needed to terraform. And yeah, we'll have a few storytelling elements over here. We could already see we have this little mysterious mysterious van over there. Not sure why I said bat over there. Maybe I'm just breaking up. And I also have this little factory. Shout out to Drew for making that to begin with. But no, we have a lot of storytelling elements in here, and I really wanted to focus on that for our series, just because I felt like it would be really fun just to be able to not only have this franchise tell a story of itself, but work with the elements around here to really start that in gear. So let's just say, for example, we have this nice little abandoned factory. We could turn this into something once we actually do get to this part. We have like all this lovely interior space that we could actually use to turn that into exhibits and stuff. So that's going to be the goal, at least. But as we get started, we can start laying down some of the grounding path work over here. And already, I do want this to feel very modern. That's kind of the goal for this place, so I'm going to be using curb on ground path. That's just something I really love to see more than anything. And of course, we can't really build back there, so allow me just to kind of use bigger paths down here. I feel like these would fit the vibe a lot more. And there we go. We can finally start making our way into the zoo. And this is always going to be so fun. So as you can tell, we're working with a lot of foliage around here. We have both desert foliage and a little bit more like dry scrublands throughout here. And I want to make it a goal not to remove any Joshua trees. So I have like these small groves of Joshua trees that will serve as little decorations as we make our way throughout here. But for the most part, we can get rid of pretty much any other foliage. But obviously, before we do get started, I want to make a little bit of a staff area, so we can kind of pop our way throughout here and kind of align ourselves to this little area, I suppose. So we can kind of make that all throughout there. And again, we're starting off by deleting some plants. And franchise mode, if I am not mistaken, we're going to need some facilities. I know, it's very crazy. So already right off the bat, I want to get started with our trade center, because I want to get an animal here first and foremost. So I should probably turn off random rotation. Yeah, that'll probably be better. And yeah, let me just align this nice and flush with the rest of this. And I think, okay, so my grid really isn't working, so that's a little bit of a shame. And keep in mind, we're not really having the most amount of money, so I think we will need a keeper hut, just to keep our animals fed. If I mess this up right off the bat, that's not going to be fun. But I think that should be good right there, and I'll get us a caretaker, and I'll also get us a simple little keeper. And that should be good enough to start us off with. And I'm keeping the game on pause right now, just so our funds don't really go kaputs. That's a really interesting name. Are these... Yeah, these are on the market. Okay, cool. I was like, huh, these are some weird names that the game is auto-generating. William CD21. So this is going to be a little bit of a learning curve. So I think I'm going to organize it by price. And we're going to do any species. Kind of weird how we only have wolves over here. But you know what? It's totally fine, I guess. Can we... Are there other animals on the market? Okay, so there are. I'm not really sure what we're going to be going for. I think I do want to keep it kind of like over here. Okay, perfect. So we can start off with some nice cheap animals. Obviously, we're not going to go for the albino orangutans or anything like that. That's kind of funny. But let's see what we could start off with. I know franchise mode, you often get like the same animals to begin with, and I think we'll actually do prairie dogs. I feel like that would fit the vibes here a lot more. So let me scroll down to black-tailed prairie dog. And I will lead us into a little speed build relatively soon. So I think I'm going to buy a bunch of these guys. Let's check their Zoopedia really quickly just to see how many we'd need in a social group. We can have up to 12, which is good. So 1 male, 11 females. Okay, I can't count apparently. So we should probably focus on our females over here. I'm not really going to care about genetics right now. And it's not like I really can to begin with, and I think we'll trade away that one, because we want to make sure that we're keeping this all nice and, you know, relatively smart. And I think we're going to start off right off the bat with a little door right here. And again, I'm going to try and keep this as semi-realistic as possible. I'm trying not to go too far. Also, forgot, we actually need, like, staff paths. So I think I'm going to nail that off right there. I think that'll be good right there. Not going to change that entrance out just yet. Maybe later down the line we can do like a custom entrance. But I think right now we're going to do everything nice and custom, especially because it is free. If it's free, it's for me. So I'm just going to have this be a relatively simple prairie dog habitat. That's about as big as I do want it. And later down the line we can probably expand it. But for the time being, they're relatively small animals, so I want to make sure that we keep it nice and, you know, relatively small. Make sure it feels nice. But that's about how I want to start it off as, and I think we could actually get rid of that. And we get a little bit more money. But we're going to leave it right there, and I think we'll actually bring these guys in here. And I'll get to work on actually making this into a habitat. Let me just hit play. Let me just hit play, come on. I'll figure that out in a bit. I'll see you guys in the actual speed build. And here we are in the actual speed build. I know it's just crazy, I just said that. So today we're just going to talk about kind of what I did over here. I really wanted to integrate these Australia fences. I never really used them before, and I really wanted this exhibit to have a little bit more of a natural kind of look. So I felt like using these alongside the new glass panels that we got would be a really awesome way to kind of get that kind of natural look to come into play. So I apologize if you hear like a little ringing in the background. That's my little puppy coming over to join us. But what I also wanted to do was kind of make a fence, and I kind of followed the same line of style with everything else. So we use the Australia wood pieces over here as well as a way to kind of frame it up a little bit. We don't really go too crazy with that, but what I'm doing over here, I really wanted this to have a bit of a trench back there, just give the effect of a continued sight line. And this is something a lot of zoos do. I know Franklin Park Zoo does it. I'm probably going to mention that in the actual live build. But recently I was able to go over there with Nick and a few of our friends, and we were able to see just like their prairie dog habitat, and it was super beautiful. And this is kind of what's inspired me to kind of make this one today. And it just looks super incredible. What I'm also doing over here is starting on the actual housing for our prairie dogs. They don't really need much. In fact, they don't really need much at all. But I really wanted them to have like at least a little bit of something over here. So I'm using all these beautiful plaster pieces. That's something I feel like would be really nice, especially with how, like, you know, the Southwest United States oftentimes uses stucco in a lot of their builds. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the next episode, I believe, once I actually do build the staff facilities. But making our way through here, making it a little bit more brighter, and I'm doing a little something funky over here. Instead of actually trying to break these in half, I use the bamboo pieces. This is a really fun technique right over here, as a way to make kind of like fake terracotta. Granted, it doesn't really match it 1-to-1, but I'm still pretty happy with that. We kind of line these up a little bit more with these plaster wall pieces, columns, I guess. And it just looks super awesome in the end, and it just has this nice little vibe to it. Once we actually do get to getting like this entire area all together, this thing is going to start flowing like butter. Oh my god, it's going to look so nice in the end. But doing all these small details throughout here, we don't really need to do much for protection because prairie dogs, they really aren't too dangerous, but we still need to make sure that guests can't really touch them at all. That kind of poses some problems over there if guests can touch them. And what I'm also doing over here is just continuing that wall just a little bit, just in case. Just helps give it a little bit more of a unique look. And I really do love the color of the rock behind there, of like the mountain. I feel like that kind of like dark amber green, not amber green, what? Amber red looks super awesome. And I'm also using the red desert rocks as a way to help it feel a little bit better, really help it feel a lot more rocky in there. And I don't know, I just really do like it, and most of this speed build is going to be rock work and doing some minor details, but I'm kind of adding a small bunch of rocks everywhere. I'm going to start to kind of like make these little areas and overhangs for our prairie dogs. So you'll start to notice in a little bit, I start to check on the actual welfare of them. I know, very crazy, right? This is like my first time really playing with the welfare on. I know, it's quite wild. But making our way throughout here and starting to add these little shelter areas, I'm very happy with it. It turned out really good. They needed just a little bit more, so I do another cave back there. And I also give them that burrow enrichment. I'm not sure if I do that now or during the live build. I really don't know. I'm also giving these guys a little bit of a green roof. That's something I really want to make clear throughout this entire series, is having this nice kind of green look to everything. I know we're in the middle of the desert, but one of the things I really wanted was to have this place feel nice, lush, and vibrant, and I think we can do that pretty well. But I'm going to end it right here because we're about to enter the live build again, so I'll see you guys over there in just a few seconds. I'm just going to keep stalling, just going to keep talking. Why not? But, you know, I'm just happy you guys are sticking along for the ride. There we go with the burrow. I'll see you guys in the live build. Well, looks like we already have our first guest. That's pretty good. And we also have our keeper moonwalking up there, so that's excellent. But I hope you guys enjoyed the quick little speed build. I know I didn't show off everything. I wanted to do some foliage with you guys too. I felt like that would be kind of fun. But already we have our nice little pack of prairie dogs in here, and we're already starting to make money back, which is excellent. But you can see that they have a lot of room to walk around, and eventually I would like to get these guys to have one of those little bubbles or whatever. I'm not really sure, like the ones where you can like kind of put the guests' heads in. We can figure all that out in a little bit. I want to get some more money before that though, and looks like it's already starting to go down. We'll pause it right there, but already there's some key things that we're missing. Now already I have this little animal burrow in here. Unfortunately, we don't have any of our friends in there right now, but it's totally fine. What I do want to do, though, is get our donation bins all set, and we already have all these all set. Well, we have these all researched. I gotta actually put them down soon. I'm not sure if I'll get to decorating those today. I may not. Maybe I'll just do the habitat, and I think I will do that. But already, I forget enrichment exists. So we gotta start working with some of that stuff. And I think already right off the bat, we can have a few bedding spaces for these guys up there. And because of that, it kind of like messed up the rock work over here. So I think I'll just take another piece of rock and kind of angle it like that as a way to make it feel a little bit more organic. I always love seeing that come into play. I'll hit play really quickly just to make sure that they still can access that. That is excellent. Their terrain is not that good right now. They need less rock and less sand. We can definitely do that. So I do want to do a little bit of grass in here, and I want to make this place have like a really good kind of vibe with all the grass everywhere. So I think I'll have a few little spurts of grass throughout here. I'll do a little bit of long grass too. I think that's looking pretty good. Unfortunately, it will mess up their little prairie holes or whatever. And I think I'll do a little bit more soil down here too. Just get rid of some of that rock and get rid of some of it down here as well. And as you can tell, I have a little bit of a moat behind here. I was very much inspired off of Franklin Park Zoo back then when I was able to go. Really awesome zoo. And they have a really interesting kind of layout for their prairie dogs. And I do want to kind of make this a little bit better. So I think I'll just tuck all this stuff in there. Nothing really too crazy, it's just like small rock work that I don't really need too much detail for. But that's looking pretty good right there, and these guys seem to be very happy. Hopefully we can start to breed them in a little bit. But they are lacking some enrichment, of course, so we gotta come over here to habitat, and we can do some kind of fun stuff. We can throw a sprinkler right up there, which I think would be kind of fun. It kind of sucks that it doesn't turn on and off. I feel like having that as a triggered item would be kind of good, and also I want to make this all black, just... Actually, no. I think I want to have it be like, what's that like nice kind of like earth green that you always see these guys with? Maybe like the yellow tabs. Yeah, okay. I like that a lot better. So they do have that for enrichment now, which is nice. And I think I do need to add some water for them. I feel like that big water pipe is too much. So I'm going to add the water bowl right down there. I feel like that would be okay. And they're also going to need some food. I don't really know why they use the Prairie arboreal feeding platform, but I think we can do something kind of cute with that. So we can put that down right there. Unfortunately, it does kind of cover up a little bit of their holes, but that's fine. I can smoothen that out a little bit more to get back where we wanted it to be. And I think we can actually use the climbing. Let's look up climbable. And use the climbable logs over here, just as a way to help it feel like it's, I don't know, a little bit supposed to be there, I assume. And I think that should be okay. Hopefully our keeper can feed them soon. And I think I'll actually do call keeper right over there. And as you guys can see, our money is kind of going down the hole. So we gotta focus on these guys over here. We gotta focus on the guests. So I think right off the bat, I think we will need some power. And I think using solar power would be the best approach, just as a way to save on money. It's quite a heavy investment, but I think it'll pay off. Actually, I don't even think we need that, because it's already powered. Yeah, never mind. But what we will need, however, will be donation boxes. And I think we can sneak a couple of these right here, and another one right here. Actually, I want to change out the color for these guys. I think I want them to be nice and green. You know, green, the color of money. We can kind of have that be a little bit more of a real green. Anything like up there, I consider that to be like a fake green. But I think that's pretty good. And it looks like our guests are already starting to use that, so that is excellent. But we also need another way to make money. So I think we're going to go to vending machines. And I think we'll just get a simple kind of vending machine over here. We'll get a nice water one. I wish the food ones would be a lot smaller, but it's fine. So we'll do Mexcellente. I feel like that fits in with the vibes very well. And we'll even do a little bit of a seating area over here. I think I'll have this be just a little bit bigger. And then we can kind of make it flow really nice throughout here. Just some nice areas for our guests to kind of hunker down at. I feel like that would be super awesome to have. We can kind of make that a little bit more of a gradual kind of incline right there. I think that'll be pretty nice right there. But making our way throughout here, I think I do want to use the African bins from the Safari Pack. These guys are my absolute favorites. So I think we're going to have kind of like gray tops, and we'll actually have this be kind of like that same green. And I think we should be able to just put these on both ends. I think that'll be super nice right there. And we can also get into using our benches. I don't have the conservation ones researched just yet. I do want to get those relatively soon, but I think in the meantime we can use probably the New World picnic benches. I think these would kind of fit the vibe. But I think these ones a lot more. I feel like these are kind of like the ones you would see. Actually, no. The ones you would see in zoos are not those, but they're the African ones. This is something I did back in Foxborough Zoo. I would take these, and I would kind of change out their color. I think that kind of green works very well. And you can actually align these guys right over here, and I think it looks pretty good in the end. It's going to be a little bit of tight corners, I guess. And I think I'll move these guys over a little bit. We don't need a lot. I think we only need just a couple throughout here, just making it feel a little bit better. But our guests should start to make use of these. I think, yep, there they go right there. And they can even walk off the path, which I think is pretty good. And now we can actually get to decorating for the foliage for these guys. So I'm not sure. Yep, they can use pretty much any of these foliage. So I'm just going to center down on that stuff right there. And we can get to work on including some nice little things. So I think we can include a few cactuses or cacti. I feel like that would look pretty good right there. Just a couple ones just to really help sell the vibe a bit more. I'm not sure about the birch tree just yet. And since I do have some modded items in here, I will be using them eventually. I'm not sure if we really need to right now. We can use a few of those beautiful dry saltwort bushes back there, and every so often. Oh, and there they all go. Kind of being all box. I apologize if there's no sound, by the way. I'm not sure if it's actually picking up on the sound. If it isn't, I'll be sure to make sure I include it in the next video. I know that's kind of like a nice little part of Planet Zoo. Maybe it'll get cut out. I'm not really sure. But I think what I want back here is just a few larger pieces of grass. Just help settle it in the area a little bit more. It kind of helps to nestle the build a lot more from like the guest perspective. And that's what I really like. I don't know, it just looks very nice. But I think I will get started on using some modded props, and I'll just put in a Mexican fan palm back there, just as a way to help it feel a little bit more organic, a little bit more nestled in there. I'll use some small little bits and pieces throughout here too. So we have the nettle right over there. I think that's pretty cute. And we can also use some of the sagebrush bush, so we can use some of those, making it look nice and pretty. And this is why I don't really like doing these videos, because I don't know what else there is to say. I feel so goofy talking about, oh, I'm going to put this right here. But, oh, these are part of that Frontier Pack that isn't out yet. Whoops. But I think we can include another one right there. And I think we should be able to use some of, like, the Drin grass. I wish they would add the Drin grass to, like, more countries, because it's so useful. But as far as I know, it really isn't part of other countries, in terms of Planet Zoo at least. I'm not sure if I want the Joshua tree in there. But I think I do want that hawthorn bush in there. That's pretty nice. But making our way throughout here, what else can we add? Maybe some goldenrod. Just as a way to get a little bit more color, I can toss those in those bushes right over there. I think that's pretty cute. And I think cornflower. We could use a little bit of that. Just as a way to kind of brighten up the area, make it feel like it's a lot more pretty. Just the flowers really do help. That's what I really do love about, like, the conservation pack. They give us so many awesome new plants, and it's just super awesome to build with. And I hope you guys are enjoying, like, this little way of handling foliage. I know I really don't take the time to explain it too much in detail for these speed builds and whatnot. So I hope it's kind of fun just being able to sit down with you guys and work on this a little bit more. And from the looks of it, I think we are pretty much all set once we get a few more of these kind of grasses down. But I think that's looking mighty fine right there. We're going to need to do some more research in a bit. I am playing on hard mode, by the way. I felt like that'd be a fun challenge. But as you can tell, we are slowly but surely working on our money. I think I'll change this out to $5. I think that'll be okay. And I think one last thing I want to do is some education. So we can actually get a nice habitat education board in here. I think I do want to align it to that surface. And then we can kind of work with it right over here. Maybe push this up a little bit. And I think that will... It's not the best looking, and it sounds like one of our guys escaped, so we could check that out in a bit. But we have our prairie dog right there. I think I'll push this guy out right all the way over here. So we could get that on both sides. This was always my favorite part of, like, the career mode, is, like, focusing on education, because it's one of my favorite things about real zoos. It's just getting all that education in there, and it's just super awesome. I will also include an educational speaker right in there. And I'll actually push it out a little bit more so we could see it over here. I always think it's important that we're able to access it, so we could have that be just a little bit bigger, and we can do the same right over here. And again, kind of mess that up, but it's totally fine. That's the best part of Planet Zoo. We could change this stuff out and we can move it around. So hopefully our guests are educated now, and we could already see some of the stuff is going up over there. Our marketing isn't the best, but our guests are happy, and that's really what matters. I think I still need to research the conservation stuff to get those like nice big green panels, because that's some stuff I really wanted to do, was get like a lot of green in here. And we could start to do that a little bit with these saltwort bushes. It's nothing really too crazy, and I think I could do a little bit more greenery in this little kind of divot. And I think that's how I kind of want to end the episode. It's nothing too crazy. We're starting on a franchise mode. Hopefully we can get to, like, you know, over there soon. That'd be a really fun way to implement some lore. They keep on escaping. Where are they escaping from? I don't like this. Where is our little prairie dog? Alright, I gotta figure this out first. It looks like they're escaping from over there. So what I'm gonna do, just gonna move that back a little bit, and hopefully they should be fine now. But going back over here, I want some nice green plants, and I think I want some bright green ones. So I think I'll do a little bit of an agave plantery, I guess? Plantery right over there. That's a way to kind of make it feel a little bit more bright. And I do want a nice big tree to give our guests some shade. So I think not the bald cypress tree. I feel like that's a little bit too extreme right there. And I think a lot of these are kind of too extreme. I gotta figure out like the best desert one. Because the palm trees are nice, but they don't really give enough like shade. Which is a shame. It's a shame for the shade. Actually, the Doom Palm actually does quite a good job at that, and I think we'll actually settle with that one. Yeah, I think that's pretty nice. Dare I say swanky. And scrolling down here, trying to see what else we can actually incorporate through here. I want some nice green plants, something that really helps it stand out. And I think we could kind of include these guys as like weeds or something, just as a way to brighten up the area, just a smidge. And that's why I like using the nettle too. It's a really nice plant just for getting those like fine details and those fine colors back into your builds, especially in a desert build like this. You gotta try and work with as much greenery as possible, and that's what I really do love. So I think that is looking pretty good so far. What a nice little kind of start to our build back here. And I actually, you know what? I'm not done yet. I want to get a little fence over here so we can see what kind of fences we have. I think I'll settle with the safari ones, just because they do work really well. And I think we'll kind of orient this going on throughout here just a bit. Nothing too crazy. It will be a little bit angular, but I think that's fine. So we could kind of work with these guys throughout here. Start by bringing these guys all throughout here and just starting a nice little green area. Because I really want green on both sides of the path, making sure that everything feels nice and vibrant. And I feel like that's a little bit too straight right there, so I do want to incorporate a few more curves. And did you guys know you could actually hold shift in order to multi-select objects? I learned that from Savannah's stream, which, by the way, go check out her like streams. They're super fun. Oh my gosh. But you can hold shift to kind of make that stuff happen, and it's just super awesome. And yeah, you can see that our guests are able to kind of walk on that area. And our next goal, I want to say, for the next episode would be to get our conservation pieces, because I really do want to use those grass panels. Except I think what I might try and do, let me actually turn the curb off really quickly. Let's see if we can work with this throughout here. I'm also using free build, which allows me to make these like smaller pathways. So in case if you guys are wondering how I get this, there are official ways to do that, but that's just the easiest way for me personally. But yeah, let's just pop back in here. I think if we use periwinkle grass, kind of matches the color a little bit more. And if we use random rotation, we get some like nice angles and stuff throughout there. So we kind of sputter those throughout there pretty nicely. And you can see that our guests are able to walk on that little pathway, and it kind of works pretty nice. And unfortunately, when they do get out of there, okay, maybe that won't work. Okay, so I think I will need to unlock those, like, grass pathways. Not the pathways, but the panels instead. But I think that should be okay still. Let me just kind of decorate that with this grass right there. I think that should be okay. And let's just see conservation. Let's see what kind of stuff came out with the conservation pack. The poppies are fine. The tick seed is kind of what I like. So if we get like a few of the smaller ones, I think that would work out pretty well. I feel like those nice yellow flowers kind of match this a lot more. And it looks like we have protesters. Oh my gosh, who would have guessed? And I do want to include some white ones. This would make a funny meme, just like having all these protesters. Meanwhile, I'm just over here doing some gardening. Why not, you know? And I think, let's get the panels and see what that can do. And I feel like having those sputtered throughout here would be a nice way to introduce a little bit more green. Yeah, I kind of like that. And then we can work with that a little bit more later. Now let's see what our actual welfare issues are. It looks like these guys may be stuck or something. What is it? Their nutrition? Nourishment. They require a keeper. What's up with our keeper? Is he tired? Oh, they're tired. Okay. So that probably explains it. So we will need a staff center. And I think this would be fine as it stands for our little keepers to just kind of rest in. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a new work zone. And we'll kind of do that right there. So hopefully we could get these guys to rest up and be able to give these guys their food. Because it seems like they're all dying. So right now, I'm just actually going to do something cheeky and send these guys to the trade center for a bit. We're going to lose just a little bit of money, but it'll give us some time just to like work on this stuff a bit more. And in the meantime, I figure we could just add some more grasses somewhere and make this area feel a little bit more organic, make it feel a little bit more welcoming. And I think I'll add some to the background there as well. I think that'll be super nice to have. And for some reason, our money's still going up. That's kind of funky right there. So working on that, I think I'll introduce a little bit of dead grass throughout here. Because keep in mind, when you do have like gardens, it's not perfect. We don't have the perfect keepers. I mean, just look at our prairie dogs. They're starving. But we can try and work these guys out, get them some food. But I think right now we should be able to bring these guys back in. Seems like their welfare is back up, which is perfect. I think we can call the keeper right there, get them some food, and then we can end the episode on a high note. And it looks like we got that little challenge done, so that's nice. Have guest numbers, exhibit species. I guess we can do exhibit species in a bit. But let's just get these guys fed. That's what I really care about. Our keeper is still doing nothing. I don't really know why. Come on, you should be able to feed these guys. Why aren't you feeding your animals? Come on. Okay, maybe I gotta check on these guys really quickly. It seems like everything else besides that is going good, though. So their enrichment could be a little bit better. Let me just see if there's a prairie dog. I never know how to spell prairie. That's a fun thing. But we could just pop down one of those enrichment items. This herb scent marker. These guys are just super awesome for getting animals to go to like the front of the exhibit, I've noticed. If you could put these things like wherever you want your animals to kind of enter or kind of like spend more time at, especially like near the front of the exhibit, that usually works pretty well. And I think these guys should be fine in terms of like toy enrichment. They will need some food enrichment soon, so we will need to do that in a bit. But seeing this right now, it looks like, is this even operational? How come our guy isn't even doing this? Why aren't they being fed? This is like actually making me mad. But I'll tell you what, maybe you guys can let me know in the comments down below. Just let me know what I may be doing wrong. But all that being said, let's actually look for the next animal to build for in our next episode. I feel like that would be kind of fun. Kind of want to stick with American animals, so let's just sort it by price and see what we have. So we have a lot of wolves. I feel like wolves would be fun, but I don't really care too much about them right now. So let's just keep on going. Let's see what kind of fun stuff they have. Doll sheep are kind of cheap. That's kind of weird. That's another thing too. I never understood about franchise mode how some animals are so cheap and some like aren't. Especially like Babirusa. Babirusa should not be that cheap at all. Maybe Pronghorn. I feel like Pronghorn would be fun, but they're not really too fun in terms of building for. So let's just keep on going and see what other kind of fun stuff we can find. I feel like we could probably... Like Okapi. We should not be able to find Okapi that cheap. That is a little silly, Frontier. Come on. But making our way downtown, trying to find some animals. No. I'm really not sure. Maybe Spectacled Caiman. I'm not sure. Maybe we could do that. I don't want to buy things, you know, and then not build for them. Maybe we could keep on scrolling on throughout here, just see what we can build for. Capybara. I'll tell you what, capybara is definitely an animal I would love to build for, and I feel like their habitat can be nice and bright too. They're from South America too, which would make them a wonderful little contender. Let's just see their group size. Around 4 individuals. I think that should be alright. Let's get, oh, obviously not those ones, but let's get probably 2 females and 2 males, I want to say. I feel like that would be good. And it looks like it's kind of taking its sweet time. Alright, maybe only 1 male. I feel like we can only afford 1 right now. Which one has better genes? We would probably want one with better immunity. So yeah, I think in the next episode we can build for capybara. I feel like they're a really nice entry exhibit animal too, and maybe we can incorporate them like right over here. Maybe while you're sitting down you can have like a nice look into the capybara habitat. But I'm not really sure, but thank you guys for tuning in to Oasis Hill Zoo. This is going to be a really fun kind of series, and I hope you guys enjoy it. But we'll end it right there with our prairie dogs. Hopefully they don't starve to death in like the B-roll. But thank you guys so much for watching. Can't wait to see you all in the next episode of this. This is going to be such a fun series. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys later. Take care and have the most wonderful of wonderful days. Bye-bye now.